Welcome to the Outer Realm with MicheleDerocher and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday night segment of The Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 FM from the Gulf Coast, 107.7 FM from beautiful New Orleans. We're fully sponsored by the amazing people at Folgers Coffee who have been a part of our journey since day one. So thank you, Folgers. We couldn't do it without you, nor would we want to. Also, big thank you to Dr. Snick, the sonic surgeon, a.k.a. Justin Snicker, who is the voice of the intro you just heard. So thank you for that. He's an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music, which can be found on all of your favorite music streaming platforms. Also, big thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind the banners and logos here at the show. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. Also specializes in the horror genre and does phenomenal commission pieces. So tonight, as you can see, the bubble unit is back in the house, and we are having the last open mic of 2024.
Thank you.
We're going to be talking about, spooky Christmas tales. Amelia dug up some Christmas Mandela Effect. We're going to talk about some of the spookier legends. There's stuff out there that happened in the paranormal or world of high strangeness. Literally at this time every year, over and above some of this like little spooky things I'll share. But I was just like, what is it with all of this stuff? It's supposed to be a late or at a time. So it'll be a lot of fun. And if time allows, and I really do have to specify, if time allows, we will touch very briefly on everything that's going on with the drones, because I'm getting a lot of messages. I understand. We were just covering that on UFO Undercover, actually. So I was part of the panel there as well. So we're going to essentially deal with that as well. So anyway, Bubbles, how's it going?
I'm much better, thank you. And you?
Well, I'm all right. I'm tired. I'm all right, considering everything is good, and people are chiming in, hello.
Yes, hello. And thank you for all the well wishes Michelle has told me. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I'm just going through everything, so you feel free. Just keep going.
No, I'm just saying thank you. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, it's
thank
nice.
you.
I love it.
Yeah, it's been a really weird season for me. I don't normally get migraines at this time of the year, but they have been tough and hitting me later in the day, not even in the morning. Like I'm not even waking up with them unless I have them the night before. So I don't know if anyone else is experiencing that. If you are, let me know.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Happens, unfortunately.
Yes.
It's always timing is never one of the best things.
Not at this time of year. It's not normal for me. I keep a diary, so this isn't normal. It's usually over by Halloween like that. So this is a bit bizarre. I'm just a little concerned about all the stuff that we have around us. So
yeah, it's a little bit crazy. It's a lot going on out there right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
My gosh, it's just trying to hunker down, get ready, and oh, Janie, hello. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank all of you. I hope Santa brings me a new light for Christmas.
Uh-oh.
It's like, really?
Did you do another one? So
the lights, yeah, I do go through quite a few lights. But the microphone, I mean, knock on wood.
Yeah.
We're still okay, because I remember this was a problem for a while. I do have a new toaster oven.
That's what, like the third one in 2 years?
I think you're right.
Oh my
I
God.
think you're right. Three, yeah. 4 since I've known you, but 3 in the
In the
last
past 2
2 years
years.
have been insane. See,
Yeah.
something's going on out there in the skies. I'm sorry.
Well, for sure.
Ah,
I
oh,
mean,
you said
it
it. Yeah.
I know, but we'll touch on a lot of all of that, the craziness towards the end of the segment. Again, if time allows, I think we're going to have a lot of fun and just get into keeping things a little bit lighthearted for this month is exactly what we've tried to do with all of this. And I think it got a little heavy last week, but that's
I
because
missed it.
yeah.
Oh, with Joe?
Well, because we were
Yeah.
it was really talking about everything that's going on with the drones and things like that. And the news changes pretty
Oh
much
my gosh. Yeah.
daily, and
Yeah.
there's a lot going on. But that's for later. If we can manage it, we certainly will. And also a reminder to everybody tomorrow. I will be doing a show in the afternoon. It's technically a pre-record because our guest, Mark Ollie, is all the way from the UK. And only for our YouTube subscribers, a little more incentive to get in there and subscribe.
Because that's good. Yeah, it costs you nothing.
Yeah, and you get to be a part of it. It's going to be at 2:00 Eastern time. So if you want to get in there and communicate with Mark, it's a really good time to do it because we don't ever get him at night. And he's going to be talking about a TV series that he had in the UK called Lost Treasures, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot of fun, and he's very open to it. And I'm hoping to get him to touch a little bit on spiritual archaeology. Otherwise, I think we're going to be just hitting on it and segueing into the February segment because it's pretty interesting that when he actually touches on some of that and does it in the series. So anyway, just that I'll put out a reminder for those who are tuning in a little bit late, but that's going to be a thing tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern, and tomorrow night's segment will be a pre-record. I will do my best to be in chat. I always do, but tis the season and kind of running around a lot.
Oh
So
my! But
anyway.
I did post everything. Hi, Wayne. I did post everything together with our show for our promo for tonight on all the pages. But you have to get your questions and go to the Outer Realm page if you have questions. If you're working tomorrow and you can't make it live, go to the Outer Realm page. Otherwise, Michelle will not get them all because there's too many pages. And you put it in there because it has it there, but I think people miss that.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. And
Yeah.
and we can always
always
put Mark over to the pages. He's always very interested in what everyone has to say.
Yes.
And he's got a whole 2025 lineup happening with us, and he's going to have a lot coming in.
I hope to be at some of those.
Yeah, then we're jumping into 2026. Like there's that much content, guys.
Nice.
Seriously. So anyway, we're gonna get the show on the road. Bubbles, what do you want to start with? You want to start with your Mandela effect, or you want me to just jump in?
Oh, I'm following you. Follow the leader.
Okay, well, Mandela effect is your puppy, man. So I know you put out a little bit of a test for everybody. So we're going to be getting into that a little bit. So
okay. Mandela effect with Christmas. And we've seen it with children's books, and we've seen it with literature, and even with the Bible. We talked about that on a few segments.
Yeah.
When it hit Christmas, it pissed me off because this is my time of year. I did that test, and I'm pretty sure I have all the answers before everything was changed, except for there's the song, I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Right.
And it says, I'll be home for Christmas. We know it is You Can Count on Me. But yet, when they play the I'll Be Home for Christmas, and the test is on our page if you want to do that after the show, it's You Can Plan on Me. Why would they say plan? No way. No way.
I know.
Plan on Me. They're changing classicals, the classics of the music. A lot of Christmas carols have changed. There's also movies, the Santa Claus.
Yes.
I know it as the E falling off. Now it's
Mhm.
the S is kind of shaken. Is this a Mandela effect, or is this just really poor marketing that is changing things, and not for
Mhm.
the lyrics for the song? Because I bet you if I go through all my music books for piano, I will
Mhm.
find You Can Count on Me.
Mhm.
I will find that lyric in there.
Mhm.
And
So, let me ask you this. What are your
yeah,
thoughts? Do you think when these Mandela effects happen, do you think it's because we're all shifting into like maybe a different reality? Or do you think that they're just messing with things to kind of mind injure everybody
I think
and
it's
change it?
both.
Yeah.
I think it's both. I think it's for the ones that aren't
Yeah.
shifting, they're messing with you, and the ones
Yeah.
that shift just fall right into it and
Mhm.
fall into it until that question is brought up. Who
Mhm.
sits there to think of the title of the film Santa Claus or the line from Home Alone? I mean, I
Mhm.
didn't think of it until like that's one of my daughter's favorite Christmas
Mhm.
movies is Home Alone.
Mhm.
And I'm listening to that line. I mean, she's got things of it, the lines like on carpets and posters. She's just got them
Mhm.
everywhere. And I'm running to look at them going, holy crap,
Right.
they really did. How did they change it? How do you change it?
Mhm.
And what I find from my experience when I'm
Yes,
looking
Madge.
at these things,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, mind
Mind link
when
is yeah.
when I'm looking at these things, I kind of feel a little lost.
Mm.
Like in my gut, I feel like I've been taken out and brought back. And sometimes I feel like there's a glitch when I'm doing the research,
Mhm.
as if something's trying to deter me from
Mhm.
digging any further. But I also found, is it the Grinch who stole Christmas, or is it how the Grinch stole Christmas?
Mhm.
Do you know that one? Which one do you
I
remember it
I
as?
remember how the
Yes.
Grinch Stole
Well,
Christmas. Yeah.
it's the
I
Grinch who stole Christmas.
right?
I'm like, just silly little things. But honestly, when you're talking about Gen Xers like us who go way
Mhm.
back, and we
Mhm.
did the whole Christmas carols in the gymnasium thing when we were younger, we didn't have all of these things stopping us from Christmas was Christmas back
Mhm.
then. How
Yeah.
the Grinch stole
Yeah,
Christmas.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carol Ann makes a good point as well. You guys have to check out Interior
Yes.
Encounters Unveiled
Hi.
Thursdays, 5 p.m. Eastern. Check it out.
Yep. I
Anyway,
will.
shifting timelines. The veil is
Yep.
thinner due to the awakening, making us more perceptive to seeing them. I agree. I agree.
I
It's
do
it's a
too.
mix of a lot of different things there.
Yeah, and it explains that uneasiness when you're researching it, that you're
Mhm,
kind of glitching, you
mhm,
kind of feel like that, and I felt a lot of times in the last few months,
mhm,
um, being dropped into my body
mm,
and thinking, like, feeling how when I purposely went out and
mm,
came back in, it was a smooth landing, but when I'm
mhm,
dropped in, it
mhm,
I have to wonder if I kind of just ventured out into a different layer per se. But
mm.
there's so many things with the Mandela effect, and it's so hard to ignore it because there's just too many of them. The Berenstein Bears, like
All of
there's
it.
just
Yeah.
all those books have changed. The Disney titles have changed, and anytime Disney puts something, you have to look.
Mhm,
There's a lot of changes with them, and that's not marketing. You're talking about a brand that is worth billions.
mhm.
They would not play with that. So
No.
yeah, I'm with Carolyn. I'm absolutely with that where you're just stepping into different dimensions and different time slots, and it's happening because it's happening at this simultaneously, and you just happen to slip in the wrong one. But did they slip the wrong one into Google search? Put the knife down.
Well, this is where I wanna stay with Guardians. If words change in historical books like the Bible, which allegedly they have,
Yes.
he
Yes.
says, "I bet your songbooks may have changed as well."
Yes, but I have songbooks from when I was little.
Yes,
These
but
piano.
there are
Yes.
Bibles apparently that
We gotta
way.
look at a family Bible. Someone who has like, do you have an old family Bible?
I've got, 1 or 2. I
Okay.
would have to dig one up. One of them I actually, donated or gave to one of the family members.
Nice.
But I could definitely get in and have a look, because the big one with that is when the lion, right, laid down with the lamb, right?
Yes.
Not the wolf.
No.
And that's what they're saying.
It's always lamb.
I know.
You never heard wolf in the Bible. I don't know where that comes from. It's always because the Lamb of God, like the lamb. It's always that symbol.
Yeah.
So, like, come on, like, this is crazy. Oh, Sherry has her grandmother's Bible. We should just like pull out scripture and see what we find.
That one comment. Yeah.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Changes doesn't matter the age. Yeah.
No, there's a lot of changes.
Right? And it was never. I grew up. It was always a lamb.
It was never. I've never heard wolf. Never heard wolf.
The Lamb of God, I think, is that reference. So I don't know, man. It's just a whole lot.
It's in the Catholic Mass, the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. Have mercy on him. And he doesn't say the wolf of God.
No, exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, it's that one. And I'm trying to remember the other one. I have to find it in my oh my gosh, in my mail that I sent you, because it got all jumbled after I sent it to you. Yours is all jumbled and like cryptic, and I can only see so much.
I don't know
of what I sent you, and it's so bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a bit. Yeah. There's another one. Curious George always had a tail. Yeah.
Curious George always had a tail.
Yes,
I know on my daughter's cover it does not. He does not. That's my daughter, and she was born in 97.
So we're talking about now about the wolf. You know, when the lion laid down with the lamb, not the wolf. Now it's a wolf, but we were just saying it was always been the lamb. The lamb, hence the term Lamb of God, like always laid down with the lamb. Right? So wolf is what it is now. And we just we had Bill Bean on the show a couple of years ago. He talked about this. But there are lots of Mandela effects. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And not just school books. It's everywhere. There's television shows.
Everything. He sent me a list at one point, which of course I don't have because he never was able to make the show. But there was something like 3 or 4 pages. Like there was over 100 of them.
Yes.
Right?
Always had a bifocal.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Mad Magazine, the guy he looked like David Letterman to me. He always loaded with freckles.
Yeah.
I think the Monopoly board has changed as well.
Well,
I think some of the names of those spots have changed.
I get some things are going to change because, as we progress things, they modernize the look of things. I get that.
Do they? Or do they modernize in another dimension and we just slipped in?
Yeah. But I mean, to try to completely convince us that things didn't happen. I'm on the verge, like I'm this close to buying, like, really old encyclopedias, like really old. Just to go back and see where things were back then. It's no wonder that they're, like, let's burn the books. That, So I don't know, man.
And it's strange, right? You can't even trust the microfiche in the library because we don't know where we are. Do you ever feel lost when you're researching things? Do you ever feel like, wait, where did I go?
No, because I get pulled to where I'm supposed to go. Like I notice when I research, I just kind of put it out to them. It's just like, look, just show me. And I get into so many different areas, but they all somehow, if I'm supposed to see it, something
it'll come to you.
Oh, it just gets shown to me.
Yeah.
It just pop up and I'm like, where the hell is this?
I come out of it like, where was I? It's almost like that whole channeling thing. Like I come out of it so lost. Antarctica. Yes. Oh, and the North Pole. The North Pole is water.
Yeah.
Where did they put the flag? Where did the Russians put the damn flag? If it's water, there's no North Pole. There's a North Pole, Alaska, but there's no North Pole landmass.
Well,
so where does Santa go?
The flat Earth people will tell you.
Yeah.
It's right there.
That's another one that was part of that.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm just like, and he does say the flat earthers are going to love this one.
Yes.
I just looked at that. The Antarctica. Yes. look at Antarctica in the book. It's all blocked now.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I know.
It's probably, I would imagine that if you Google Antarctica, it'll have something that they just continually show and there'll never be any new. Unless you're on the dark web, you're not going to be able to find it. And I don't know how to get to the dark web. So,
Kaysen, you have to go to the Outer Realm. It'll say the Outer Realm, and in brackets, it'll have my name because I have my the stuff, the other media I do on there as well. But if you go on there, that's where everybody's kind of hiding out. So if you're probably on UPRN, which we can still see you, but if you want to interact with everyone, just go to the Outer Realm. Yeah.
Yeah, they're either there or Facebook.
Yeah.
But it was very shocking when for me, because Christmas is my favorite time of year. So I was really disappointed when I was reading them, but I did enjoy taking the test. I was talking to my phone.
Right.
But I was very Karen. What do you mean? No, it's how the Grinch stole Christmas.
I know. It's insane.
And I have the original books, the Dr. Seuss books, and I'm like, I want to just.
I know.
But it's really cool. Not going to lie. It's really cool. It's a really creepy feeling sometimes. It's different. It was fun. It was fun to do the test. It's on our Facebook page on the Outer Realm. If you're interested. I couldn't believe how bad I failed, but
yes.
But that's it. Christmas edition.
Yeah, there's a lot out there. And you know what, guys? We will do another show just on the Mandela Effect because there are so many. So if there's anybody out there that's like really got it together with the Mandela and you want to go full on, then let's go full on with it because
Matt,
like to me, the Christmas Mandela Effect, that's what we've been
It's very small.
Yeah,
it's very small.
But there could be a whole heck of a lot more.
There could be something that we don't know about. I just happened to come across that and it was easy to access because it was on YouTube. But I'm sure if I dug a little deeper, but those, when you watch the video clip, it's just.
Let us know, Heidi.
To change the lines it would be interesting to see them change lines in films that we are very familiar with, our generation. I think it would be. I think it was Miracle on 34th Street that they changed the line as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they changed the girl. Scrooge as well. Yes, Butterfly Effect is a great film.
There's so much on that. Oh my God, that's all of the show.
Butterfly Effect was the first. That was an interest because I didn't know anything about all of this stuff. When that film came out, that was the first time I ever heard of anything like that. That was a fantastic film.
It gets really crazy. But we'll do another show on that, and we're going to move along because we're going to try to keep into some fun stuff as well. But that's both spooky fun stuff. So let's talk about, we look at Christmas and people like all over the world report like amazing things. And I know we've touched a little bit on this before, but I dug out my list, which has a little bit more, well, actually has a lot more information on it. But there are paranormal researchers out there who pretty much research just spooky Santa sightings. And I'm thinking, what the spooky Santa sightings? What the hell is that? It's not supposed to be spooky unless you're Krampus, and that's okay. Krampus can come visit anytime. But what my question is to all you guys is, are we dealing with a sort of tulpa? Because we know, yes, St. Nicholas existed. There's a lot of legends about it and everything else. But okay, what about the jolly, the jolly big guy and so on and so forth? How do we know where that is? Because the image, by the way, the image of the Santa we know right now, not the traditional one, but we always call him the Coca-Cola Santa. Okay, I think that image was created, I believe, I think it was the 70s. For Coca-Cola. And that seems to be a whole other thing. So this is the image people are seeing, which tells me that perhaps we are dealing with a tulpa. when it comes to this. So here's some of the stories, okay? So is he a thought form? I mean, people all over the world really concentrate on this. And, yes, we have sightings, this and that. So let's get into some of these crazy sightings, okay? So ghostly sightings of Santa. Stories of Santa have people seeing Santa in their home at Christmas Eve have been pretty common throughout the years, apparently. People have reported hearing noises and sounds coming into the living room, like from the fireplace, the whole thing. They come downstairs in a panic, and lo and behold, Santa Claus is in the middle of the room, way through the fireplace, no less. Okay. So it's kind of like, okay. And when he sees that he's been spotted, he just disappears after all the ruckus. There are other stories where Santa and one of his elves near Seattle, Washington in the 1950s. See, this is something else that's crazy. Dealing with a traditional look that didn't apparently exist then, but let's go with it. He's seen carrying a big brown bag walking down the street. As soon as they respond, they disappear into thin air. So there have been multiple sightings from people who swear that they have seen a sleigh with 8 reindeer flying about the skies overhead with multiple witnesses. So not just like 1 or 2 people, multiple witnesses. There was one story where a man walked into his living room and found St. Nicholas. Okay, so this is a different traditional garb with shilling stockings, and only the stockings were floating in the air, right? Which is cool. The stockings, he was filling stockings. Sorry. The stockings are floating in the air in the middle of the hallway. And when he walks in, because the man walks in, they all fell to the ground.
Oh my.
Right?
Yes.
So
the magic is gone.
Right? Yeah. So there's another story where a man tells about this tale, a little bit of I'll narrow it down, but he has a tale of seeing Santa Claus as a wee child standing in his bedroom doorway with a beautiful mystical glow around him, which was in the wee hours of the morning. Without moving his lips, he said, "Now you know you're supposed to be asleep." So telepathic, I guess, while I'm here. Close your eyes and at least pretend. So one woman said that the same thing happened to her, only her experience was not so pleasant. She saw him one Christmas Eve and she felt a certain sense of creeping dread and that he was not all jovial or jolly. She said she felt as though he must have known she was there and turned around and looked at her without smiling. And she felt as though he was eerily looking right into her soul.
Oh my.
I know. So there's a lot of reports just like that. And Santa does not like children being up apparently when he visits. So there's other like older, like Santa folklore, but there's a very sinister Victorian legend, old English legend that hasn't paired up, of course, with the devil. So Santa was only interested in well-behaved children, and all of the naughty children basically were said to have been carried out by the devil, which of course lends to the old Nordic Krampus tales, right? So there's a lot of really crazy stories like that. Santa playing for floating socks. It was no Dobby, I know, right? So it does get a little bit crazy, but are they aliens?
We really don't know. Or just beings from another dimension. We really don't know. I just find it funny how Krampus got stuck with the demon part because he didn't start out that way in Germany. So it just doesn't, because they did it differently.
But I think it lends to the whole Krampus thing, because there are a lot of old lores about Krampus and St. Nicholas being counterparts,
Yes, absolutely.
The scales,
Yeah, but it he would eat the children, and I'm like,
it's pretty.
It pretty much falls on this line of what fairy tales really were back then. They weren't Disney.
No, pretty much, for sure, pretty much.
Yeah,
you get into the traditional stories of ghost stories at Christmas that goes back thousands of years. People are like, oh, this is this is, a Victorian thing. Don't get me wrong, we can get into the Victorians for sure. But if you're going back into times of the winter solstice and the depths of winter, the pagan traditions included a belief that there was a ghostly procession that went across the night sky. This was known as the Wild Hunt. And this is like pre-Christian stuff, right? But it was a guide, Odin and his 8-legged steed. So there wasn't like 8 reindeers. It was an 8-legged steed.
So there was
right.
Yeah.
Right. And he raised his sword in command while in search of mortals, having failed to find a hiding place from the celestial hunting party. And they could be abducted, no less, and of course, and be taken to the underworld. So that's like, because that's not frightening enough, right?
I know.
So, but so people on average would long for their loved ones during the holidays, and many family members have been known to stop by for a visit, showing that they're never very far away. And that was a really ancient tradition. And we can thank the Victorians for bringing that back, because Victorian people in Victorian times, they had a fascination with the supernatural. They would have seances, even at Christmas Eve, yes. And they would have picnics in cemeteries and form spiritualist or cult societies that still exist today. And then they would send bizarre Christmas cards with morbid but humorous designs on them, like such as murderous rocks or insects, just really out there. But
the spider.
Right. But they wanted to make sure that their cards served as a shocking conversation starter. And some of these were influenced, of course, by folklore. But the best thing, and I love this, I really love this because it just makes it more about family than gifts. But many families in the time would exchange ghost stories as opposed to gifts. And they would gather around a fire and share ghost stories. And it was a really beautiful tradition, that, believe it or not, that went on into the late 1800s, all the way into the early 1900s. And a lot of those ghost stories we've come to know even now, such as A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, right? That's 1843. Ebenezer Scrooge experiencing the visits of 3 ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. And
that'll change.
Right? All of it. I know, right?
Yeah.
And the old nurse story. The old nurse story by Elizabeth Gaskell, written in 1852, about ancestral secrets in seriously haunted houses. Like, it's just, there's so many amazing. Shakespeare, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, right, was written January 1st, 1818. There's something about the dark.
But she carried her husband's heart around
Just a bit
with her in a jar.
Yeah, it's
her entire life.
Yeah.
Talk about dark.
Yeah. I know. This is what I mean. Like, it's just, I think you just get to a point where, there was just something about those long, cold evenings. Christmas time, they want to live longer than Christmas. That's why the Christmas is starting in October. There actually are, cultures that would have them at their Christmases would last for a lot more than just one day or a couple of days. Like, it would go on sometimes for a couple of weeks.
Italians, goes to January 6th. And one culture, I can't remember which one it was. I have it in my email. They celebrate Christmas on the 6th and another one on January 12th. Because it's just a culture thing. It's not religious, it's culture.
That's kind of cool, though.
I know. Because if you're Roman Catholic, you know that Jesus Christ wasn't born December 25th.
No, it's true.
He's a summer baby.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
So it gets into a lot of really what
Would do that in a heart, in a jar, souls in the top.
Only souls.
The reason why Mary Shelley carried her husband's heart, she was so madly in love with him, but her book did better than his, and she always felt guilty about it, and she always felt like she did something wrong. Back then, you didn't have female authors. that succeeded or were even looked at.
Yeah, there's quite a few that were tucked in. I think it really depended
They
on
went under
where you
their
were.
husband's name. That's where nom de plume came from, was
Mm.
because they could not be published as women.
Mm-hmm.
It came after Victorian times. It
Yeah.
started.
There's some great ones. There really are some great ones out there, though. My God, great stories. And I
Yeah, that's a
love
good point.
how people around the world just celebrate all this. I was trying to find an article, even on the origins of Christmas trees and things like that. Like it's just, there's more pagan stuff. Hold on, maybe it's this page.
My
up here.
favorite is Charlie Brown's.
That's the Krampus.
We better
and,
not touch that one.
Okay, the spooky tree in the Ukraine. At Christmas, trees were decorated with artificial spider webs and decorative spiders. This was a symbol of prosperity for the next year. I know. The mythical spider would be like a web of a poor family's tree, and the web would turn to precious metals the following morning. So that's kind of interesting.
Different.
And then South Africa. Get this one.
Yeah.
Don't eat Santa's cookies.
No.
So, to keep the kids from nibbling at Santa's cookies, parents would tell a story about a boy named Danny who ate all of Santa's cookies. His grandmother was angered, and in her rage, she killed poor Danny. And now both of their ghosts haunt houses during Christmas time. This is
so
in
cool.
South Africa. It's wiki, isn't it?
Well, they're very spiritual culture. There's so much going on there. I can only imagine the different holidays and how far they are from what we're used to having here. The commercialized holiday has taken over and has for a while. Like the Coca-Cola Santa, they made that Santa because they thought that they could make their beverage look cooler, and more popular.
Yeah,
it was probably the one. I
think it's great.
I always look forward to the commercials, but I don't watch TV with commercials anymore. But I used to look forward to those commercials with Santa and the train, and the train that goes across Canada is also the Coca-Cola train.
Yeah.
I think they stopped that. And the Clydesdale commercials during the Super Bowl. Those are the best ones. I hope they don't change any of that. See, in Italy, depending on what part of Italy you come from, you wouldn't leave cookies. You would leave a clementine and a glass of wine.
Yeah.
You didn't leave milk in Italy. I don't know if it's the tradition or it's because the dads just wanted, okay, kids, cover your ears. The dads just wanted the glass of wine, so to speak. And that's why the clementine, maybe the mom took it. And I think it was, it's another place in Europe. It's a carrot. I think not even Europe. I think it's Norway where it's a carrot. I go figure, it's a vegetable.
Right.
But there's so many different, so you have to wonder, is it cookies and milk the tradition, or is it just a cultural thing that we call culture, but it's commercialism?
Yes, because even with the 8-legged steed, children were taught you would leave stuff out for the steed, right? So they're like, you see, the traditions are very much the same, but they're obviously culturally different, but the idea is the same, right? So I don't know. I think I personally love it, but there's definitely a lot to do. People don't realize how much pagan background is in modern Christian
90%,
like to traditions. Well, it wasn't uncommon, when the Christians went into an area, the church went into an area, and they would amalgamate a lot of the traditions. It would be easier to bring people into the fold, right? By letting them keep certain traditions over time, I think they were able to weed out a lot, but a lot of those are still very, very prevalent. People say, well, you shouldn't light candles and you're spell casting, but you're in the church, you light candles.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
And you make wishes and blow them out on your birthday cake. Yes, Alan, Norway is.
Yeah. I mean, it is all part of, an amalgamation of sorts. So I think it becomes a lot about perception and a lot about, what they
absolutely.
Keep. But I mean, words, spelling, spell casting, they're all pretty much, very tight knit with that. But anyway, I want to get back to this comment by Lady Spider.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was just going to say to Alan, yes, it is Northern Europe. I always, when I say Europe, don't seriously, it's me. I always think France, Italy. I think that. I don't think of Scandinavia. Not that I hate you guys. It doesn't commute to me with Europe. I always feel like it's so cold north, which it is very, very far north and part of Scandinavia. But yes, my apologies. You're right. Lady Spider Witch, hello. When I was a kid, it was December 24th. I was in bed. So was my family. But that night, I actually heard bells, and I can't explain it. Lucky you.
I know. I love that. I love that.
I think Santa ignored me.
We just had to share. Okay.
All right. Wow.
Okay. So I've got some other little stories here. So I always like to give credit where credit is due. So these are from Ranker, and one is The Legend of the Mistletoe Bride, which haunts England's Bramshill House.
Mm-hmm.
So the legend of the Mistletoe Bride has been retold for centuries. I'm going to read this out as per the article, and has taken many forms. While the story's true origin is difficult to determine, many have come to believe its roots are in the disappearance of Lord Lovell's bride at Bramshill House in Hampshire, England. Allegedly, Lord Lovell was preparing to wed a young woman related to Sir John Cope, the owner of this house, and it was around Christmas time. So mistletoe hung throughout the mansion, inspiring the wedding party to play a game. The young bride-to-be would hide somewhere in the mansion, and the groomsmen would all seek her out, and whoever found her first would get to kiss her. So that's pretty risque way back in the day. So the bride went to hide, and the wedding party sought to find her. However, minutes turned to hours, and they still could not find her. Eventually, the game turned terribly serious, and no matter where they looked, she remained missing. 50 years later, 50 years, Lord Lovell, still seeking answers to his bride's disappearance, happens upon a secret closet in the upstairs room of Bramshill House. Inside, he found a wooden chest sealed shut with a lock. Upon opening the chest, he found the nearly unrecognizable remains of his bride. So I guess the the question there is, who locked her in? Right? Somebody didn't want to get
Who
in.
knew? So creepy at Christmas.
I know. Right?
If there's a creep factor, Michelle's going to find it.
I will. I'll go find that crap.
Yes.
So
I can't say I don't love it, because I really do, and I love the further you dig, the more I learn from you. Why couldn't it be possible? Why couldn't all of these be possible? Why do they have to be stories? I feel like these are things that have happened, and over time, broken telephone, we've lost a lot of the story. And why wouldn't it happen? I mean, in the times that these stories and these events happen and these experiences, we also had Vikings, we had gladiators at one time. There was a lot of death, there was a lot of darkness. We were burning people for no reason. Why wouldn't something be manifested from all of that negativity?
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's the vibration and frequency you're putting out there. That is definitely going to be a thing. Is one thing I've learned in 2 decades of working with people, it's definitely a thing or two about mindset and how
Yeah.
much control we really have over a situation and how much we can manifest certain things. But that also includes good things. That also includes taking control. And it's we're tougher than more people think. Okay, next one.
Mhm.
Eccentric woman. Okay. Every Christmas, a group of ghosts from the Stark family has created quite a legacy for themselves. The Starks left behind numerous spirits that are now haunting a Victorian home in Ludington, it looks like Michigan.
Cool.
And visitors have reported numerous sightings, particularly around Christmas. One such specter, being Vera Stark, was well known in life for her eccentricities and seems to have brought them with her into the afterlife. Those who claim those who claim to have seen her ghost say she appears in the front yard of the home wearing only a fur coat and picking flowers, just as she did in life. In addition, the ghost of one of the Stark daughters, who suffered a terrible mishap in the mansion's gymnasium, can allegedly be seen walking through the halls of the home. The current owners of the home have even attempted to open it up to historical tours, but they apparently ran into problems. Our spirits did not care for it being open to the public and went wild. And this is particularly around Christmas time. So I don't know. That's, that's crazy.
Mhm.
That's crazy. So, man, I know it really makes you wonder. There's so much is rooted in there, but spirits do act up. Before I get to any more of the stories, I truly believe that obviously our loved ones will come around. That I've experienced this so many times, and just through the people I've worked with, for myself, that they really do come around in times of special occasions, or times that may be special to you, or anniversaries that were special to them as well. And
Mhm.
as far as grounded spirits, it's really hard to say, because I've encountered situations where you have spirits operating or existing in the same space. However, they don't acknowledge one another because they've either passed at different times, or they're in different, dimensional realms, perhaps, because you can be
Mhm.
in different dimensions, same space, just different times.
Yes.
And then the ones who are stuck, if you all died at different times, doesn't mean that you ever pass one another.
Mhm.
So it's interesting.
Since my niece just popped in, hi Samantha. Um, it reminds me, and I won't say which niece asked me this question, and it's
Okay,
not
so
you, obviously,
I was just saying,
because
so don't put it up on the
I'm
screen.
telling the story, so it's
Okay.
obviously not you, Sam. So, um, one time I had talked about being visited by our family that have passed, Samantha's and mine, and one of my nieces said, "Well, I felt like they were here at that time." And I
Mm,
said, "Oh, that's wonderful. Well, how could they be here and be where you are?" I go, "Well, they didn't drive between us."
yeah.
But that's how I talk. Samantha will tell you, that's the way I respond. But anyways, I just thought it was really cute because she's still thinking in the physical realm,
Hmm.
that yeah, it's absolutely possible for them to be everywhere at once. They
Hmm.
are everything. It's the whole I am, it's the whole energy, and the
Hmm.
the frequency is so confusing at Christmas, because you have those that are very, very sad
Hmm.
and lonely, and you have that, and then you have the joy, and it's really very much,
Hmm.
a balance that I don't think we've figured out yet, because we're not good enough as humans, to be honest. But
Hmm.
otherwise the whole world would be happy, right?
Hmm. I
But
I think so. I mean, I
yeah.
also think that they react to, if they're visiting loved ones, they will react to how we're acting. If you're feeling that sense of loss, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's a time of year where it can be very joyous, and then there's a time of year where people, either don't celebrate at all, or they're longing for times past. Like I love going back in time and thinking what Christmas was like with my family and my grandparents. A really big affair. And then, this year's kind of like, oh God, I mean, but because, the kids get older and they've got a lot of their own things going on.
Yeah.
And it's just, you're working around everybody else's schedule where you're not the hub
It was
anymore.
simpler. It was a simpler time.
Simpler. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
It was a simpler time, and I don't take that for granted right now with my daughter having her home. Like I'm just like, never get married. Just stay with me forever.
I know. It's a tough one. So
empaths observe, don't absorb. That's my biggest problem.
Yeah.
I absorb too much, and this is the worst time of year for me. I don't know about other empaths. I need to ground more. It's affecting me physically. But for me, Christmas is not a religious holiday. It's just a season of love, light, and giving. That's what it is for me. I don't have to receive. I just want to take care of everyone. Yeah. And I'm hosting Christmas Eve this year for the first time. So I'm looking forward to it. And I've put a lot of work into it. So you guys better love it. But I'll be fine no matter what. I wish I could have my family here because we all live so far from each other. And Samantha knows our Christmases were so amazing. We didn't care. We were just together. That's all that mattered. And when they get older and Samantha's got 4 kids, good Lord, and makes me feel really old. And it's tough. It's hard. So I always joke. I always say, well, if we're all together, it'll be easier for our families that have passed because they only have one stop.
It makes it a lot easier for sure.
Yeah.
Just don't become one of these stories we're talking about.
No, and we can exactly. You're not getting stuck in that thing, but also you can feel the love together and manifest that a little bit easier.
I agree. I agree.
So yeah.
All right. Oh, hello, Adrian. Nice to see you made it.
Hi. Can I make one quick mention? Because it's only 2 lines.
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm going to say Grilla, Icelandic witch.
Yeah.
An ogress with an appetite for the flesh of mischievous children, whom she cooks in a large pot.
Sounds very holiday-like.
It sounds like parents making up a story.
Yes.
That keeps their kids in bed. Till Santa comes around.
Yes, exactly.
How horrific, but it does sound like something that would come from way back pre-Victorian, pre-Edwardian times. But there's only 2 lines on her. There's nothing else. But I had to bring that up and not get through the whole
there's
show without mentioning her because I'd never heard of her before.
Well,
I missed one or two.
She would also show up with lumps of coal.
Yes.
So that's what you would get if you were just.
That's what I get.
Lumps of coal. Naughty, bubbly.
I want the ones that get pressed into diamonds. I keep mentioning that, but Santa doesn't listen.
Santa's not listening.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll tackle another one, and then we'll just pause in between and let everybody chime in. Okay, alleged phantoms plagued a Brooklyn home during Christmas time. So this was a few weeks before Christmas, 1878. Edward F. Smith was at his home in Brooklyn, New York, when the doorbell rang. He answered the door, but there was no one there. This soon became a nightly occurrence. The doorbell would ring, not only for Smith, to find no one outside, no signs of anyone having been there at all. Growing frustrated, he sprinkled ash and flour along the path to the door, expecting to find footprints, tongue-tied. But the noises continued. So no matter where he and his family stood around the house, the noises remained unidentifiable. Smith and his family were growing more concerned as the doorbell kept ringing, and then it turned into aggressive banging on the doors. Eventually, they contacted the police. The ringing and banging continued, and still no one was able to identify its source. One night, a brick suddenly flew through the window from outside, even though police officers were standing nearby and saw no one. Although they investigated the home for some time, police were unable to identify the cause of the disturbances. Smith and those who witnessed the strange occurrences ultimately concluded they must be paranormal in nature. So, who was this pretty random to have, you're just targeted and all of this stuff goes on nonstop. Nobody can see anything. I know it does sound like a trick or treat thing. For sure.
Right.
So I don't know, definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. Um, Next one, the headless horseman that allegedly haunts Roos Hall every single December. So Roos Hall, that's Roos Hall, a mysterious mansion in the English countryside. It even sounds like cooler because it's the most haunted places in England, English countryside in the wintertime. But it's located outside a small town called Beccles in the county of Suffolk, which is pretty haunted. The mansion has accumulated plenty of ghost stories ever since it was first built in the 16th century, I bet. And one of the most horrifying stories is that of the headless horseman. So see, we've got one here out Sleepy Hollow way, but apparently there's one at Roos Hall as well. And it takes on a life of its own. Numerous visitors to the hall have reported a man on a horse riding toward them on the road, only to discover that he has no head. Allegedly on Christmas Eve, the headless man is often seen clattering down the driveway with his phantom coach and 4 horses. And this is only the beginning of Roos Hall's ghostly existence. Other rumors claim that there are strange markings inside the hall known as the devil's footprints. And some have even reported seeing a girl watching them from the windows. So lots of haunted tales there. And of course, in England, they're like really dramatic to boot. So that's pretty exciting. I love it. I love it. I could tell you, when we had the manor house, well, not Christmas, but New Year's Eve, one year, the house was vacant for a few months because we were at another house. So the house had no forced air. It was all boiler heating. There was nobody there. This was like winter time and no bugs, no nothing, nothing, nada. Nobody walking around, bringing dust up, nothing like that. So I started getting a lot of pings from the security cameras. It started at about 4 p.m. in the afternoon. I'm going, what the heck? Now, factoring in the point where the house, which was, 1874, was built for the lady of the house for entertaining. So, okay, manor house built for her. That's okay. Let her go. And until midnight, we were getting pinged literally every few minutes. And I'm funky with orbs because I'm pretty logical, as many things can create orbs. But I also know there are
don't like that.
No, but I know there's also spirit orbs. I just don't jump on everything being a spirit orb. Sometimes it's dust, pollen, pet dander, moisture, insects. I mean, there are scientific reasons for pretty much everything in life. And there are as much as there are reasons, in areas of high strangeness. So all I know is we started having orbs coming out of the chandelier, sometimes 2 at a time, sometimes just giant, and they would disappear into the mirrors, or they would come out from a parlor, and we watched it just cross over the hole through the parlor, through the dining room, and just keep whizzing by the camera. Other times we saw them going through, which would have been like the old summer kitchen. Sometimes they had faces in them. All I know is it went nonstop. I kept thinking to myself, I am just going to be, we're paying handsomely for all of this extra footage because we're getting pinged so many times. And I'll tell you something. When the midnight came and the clock struck midnight, everything stopped. Not even one, nothing. It was just quiet. It was quiet before then. It was quiet after that. And we just looked at each other. was like, what was that? And, we just started looking at some of this footage, and we saved a lot of it because we just had no explanations.
That wasn't a special place.
Well, it was a big
Yeah.
deal. They had servants, and they had guests, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of foot traffic.
I mean,
I guess,
a mansion just to entertain is huge, let alone this is bigger than a guest house. This isn't like that. Like it's
no, it was a big house.
yeah. During the special occasions, I would imagine it was fiercely active.
Oh, it
Yeah.
was. It was. There was things that were special occasions for them. Like Christmas, ironically, was a bit more quiet. But I mean, the house wasn't in use. So when you're there, you hear the things that are going on.
Well,
So
Christmas, sorry.
yeah, things were going on. We had no idea. But oh boy, I'll tell you something. Christmas Eve and the parties and whatever was going on, we just kind of sat there. It's like we just couldn't stop staring at the monitors. We're just like,
it would parties all year long.
Oh, it would ping through, to the phone, and we're watching this going, this is unbelievable. Like it was nonstop from the time they were prepping to literally when the clock struck 12. That was it. Maybe
Pretty
the
cool.
planets were aligned up a certain way. No, it never happened any other time, which was strange.
No. And
So,
it's a big
everything was
deal
lined
to
up.
be hosting events like that for them and to be invited. It was a big deal.
It
But I
was.
imagine maybe Christmas was a little bit quieter because it was more family and maybe they just shared that at home rather
Possibly.
than, have, because you're not going to have big, I know
Mhm.
she entertained a lot and
Mhm.
it wasn't just family. There was business. There was all kinds of
There were
things. And
garden parties. Tickets were sold.
yes, they were so busy
Um,
in the summer.
you
Yeah.
know, but it was
It's society.
fascinating. It was
Yeah.
fascinating to experience, and um, the new owner, I'm sure, is just getting their hands full. So kudos. The house is lovely, and it's still the spirits are still enjoying everything, I would imagine. So we hear little stories every now and then from her. So it is interesting. Okay,
Oh boy.
next story. The ghost of Sir Geoffrey de Mandeville and his headless dog roam the
Oh,
streets on Christmas Eve. So I know. The story of Sir Geoffrey de Mandeville is just brimming with political betrayals, and he held the title of Earl of Essex. So this was pretty prestigious. He was a prestigious European lawyer or landowner, sorry, during the 1100s. Because of his title, he had great influence over royal politics at the time. However, when a debate emerged regarding the rightful heir to the throne, he chose the losing side and was promptly stripped of many of his assets and excommunicated from the church. During his excommunication, Sir Geoffrey was slain on the battlefield, but because of his exile, he was not allowed a proper Christian interment, which many believe left his spirit trapped within the earthly realm. So, with that being said, rumor claims that Sir Geoffrey also had a curse on the properties he owned, stating that should they ever be taken from him, ruin would befall the betrayer, and every 6 years on Christmas Eve, he and a headless dog would haunt the
so
lands
long.
draped in a red cloak. Ever since his demise, people who have visited the properties he once owned, particularly the Pimsbrook Bridge in East Barnet, have reported hearing strange sounds and witnessing the hazy image of a headless dog breaking through the fog, accompanied by a knight in full armor and a red cloak. Can you freaking imagine taking a little, stroll about? Hey, CL, taking a little stroll about, and all of a sudden, hi, Michael.
Hi. Yeah.
Seeing this headless dog shooting out of the night fog at you, and you look up and you've got a knight on a bloody horse coming your way. It's like, where the hell did you go? It's kind of like,
I've been looking for the fur baby's head.
well, the dog's not going to bite you. We know that. There's no head.
Well, we
So,
don't know what he's going to do because that's a little demonic little minion there.
I know.
It's so sad.
I believe
Why a
lot of
beheaded
people
dog?
do.
What's wrong with you people? Come
Michael, because
on.
we're talking high strangeness. That's why.
Yeah.
So,
And I
yes,
forgot to mention earlier. I'm sorry I do this. I have to get back in the swing of things, honestly. I'm so sorry. Santa's suit wasn't always red. Just
that's true.
putting out there, it was green. And there's so much confusion as to there's so many different variations of
Yes.
the colors. And pre 1930s, he was known to be wearing yellow and green and being tall, gaunt, and
Yes.
like a spooky looking elf at times. But get
Yes.
this, Russia has him as fit and wizardry looking.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Yes.
really.
I know. I know.
He wasn't fat until 1930. Sorry, there's a discrepancy on what year it was, but it was in the 1880s when Thomas Nast was a cartoonist who made him red and jolly and plump.
Right.
Maybe
See?
that's where the milk and cookies came from.
I think, yeah,
Coke
Coca-Cola.
did that
Yes,
in
that's right.
1930. This was
Yeah.
1881, and it was Thomas Nast. He was a cartoonist, and
Yeah.
he drew merry old Santa Claus.
Yes.
Yeah.
So no, Alan, we're just into the Santa thing. It's just a total different type of show tonight. So no worries. But it is fascinating because you're getting into all of these ancient cultures and you're getting into where things were even pre-Christianity, and then how Christianity came in and amalgamated everything. It's fascinating. We're going to get to a few more of those as well.
I still need to know, when did they give Santa cookies?
I don't know because I mean I think there's references of that too when you go back to, again, Odin and his eight-legged steed, where they were leaving things, the children were leaving things for the steed. I think there's many references of the that varies culture to culture,
Yeah.
time into time, right? So
Mhm.
okay,
I
next.
found it.
Okay. Do you want to say it before I get into the next story?
Sure, thank you.
Okay.
I'm like a little kid. So bad. The tradition of leaving milk and cookies for Santa began in the United States. I knew it was American. I'm sorry, guys, but like everything sweet comes from there. There's always a dessert in the 1930s, but it's a beautiful reason why. During the Great Depression, parents wanted to teach their children to be grateful and charitable, so they started leaving out cookies and milk. And the tradition may have also have roots in European practices of offering gifts to mystical figures. So then they have like all the different ones of the different countries and cultures and everything. But the milk and cookies is American.
Right.
And it started on December 6th, not Christmas Day.
Oh,
St. Nicholas Day. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay.
See, you learn something every day.
Okay, here we go. A ghost who supposedly disrupted a Christmas party at Alcatraz.
Alcatraz had Christmas parties?
I'm thinking.
Wow. So. Maximum security hasn't been.
I know. So Alcatraz, the isolated penitentiary located in the middle of California's San Francisco Bay, closed down in 1963. But tales of those who were once held on the island continue to haunt generations of onlookers and visitors. Often referred to as the Rock, it gained a reputation for unexplainable and shocking ghostly encounters. And one of the most notable was recounted during Christmas. So back in the 1940s, while the facility was still in operation, the warden at the time, Warden Johnson, decided to throw a small Christmas party at his house. So this would have been for staff, boarding house on the island, I'm guessing. During the gathering, a few of the guards began retelling the story of a phantom figure who appeared before them wearing a gray suit, brimmed cap, and sported mutton chop sideburns. All the guards who were there, all they could do was stare at this ghostly figure in shock. And before they had a chance to move, the room suddenly turned very cold and the fire in the Ben Franklin stove was extinguished. And just as suddenly as he had appeared, the phantom man vanished. So again, I'm looking at the history of the place. Let's face it, hardship, So I imagine, and I think hardship of that nature also attracts things
Oh
to,
gosh.
right? That sort of energy attracts maybe other more malevolent energies to take advantage of that. So
That's a prison that
that
held
that's
life
that's
was life
that's
then.
definitely a thing.
Yeah, life was life then.
Yes.
And there was a lot of oh my gosh, I think it had to be close to almost the entire population of Alcatraz that were
Mhm,
murderers
mhm,
and brutal, violent criminals. So, yeah, I can't imagine what they brought inside with them
mhm.
because it's still to this day haunted.
It is. It
Yeah. I
absolutely
believe the
is.
whole island is probably blood-soaked and haunted.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
Um, all right, guys. Anne
Mhm.
Boleyn, we all love her.
Oh my.
There's all sorts of things, all kinds of different hauntings and stories about Anne Boleyn.
We have to do a
But
tutor show.
Anne Boleyn is said to return to her childhood home every Christmas Eve,
Mhm.
which would be Hever Castle, which is nestled deep in the British countryside of Kent, was once home to the Boleyn family. Anne Boleyn, the most well known member of the family, lived early part of her life there before she married King Henry VIII. Within a few short years of her marriage, however, she was targeted by dissenting gossip within the castle, accusing her of witchcraft and adultery. Basically, he wanted to deal with this, and things came up, and she was ultimately executed. But whether she suffered from heartbreak or homesickness, Anne Boleyn's spirit is said to haunt the halls of her childhood home, Hever Castle. However, she allegedly only appears on one day of the year, which is Christmas Eve. Rumors persist that her somber specter is seen drifting silently over the picturesque bridge, and it spans over the River Eden and on the grounds of the home where she knew much happiness. It's such a sad story because there is so many different haunted tales of Anne Boleyn. And one of my favorites is where they had a night, I believe it's a night watchman or a night guard, because there are guards
Mhm.
who guard the Tower of London, and this is where she was killed. And one night, he peeked into the chapel area and saw not only Anne Boleyn but an entire ghostly procession of
Yes.
people who had been there going back hundreds of years.
Yeah. And on the day of the anniversary of her
Mhm.
execution,
Oh yeah,
they
just
see it a
unbelievable.
lot. Some of them are really freaked out about it. They won't do the watch on
Yeah.
that part. They lose a lot of night
Oh
watch from there. Go figure.
yes.
She was quite the character.
Mm,
What kind of person takes something from her own sister? But you know what?
mhm,
It's definitely everything
mhm,
happens for a reason because without her, without the Tudors,
mhm, mhm,
the monarchy wouldn't be who they are now,
mhm.
as well as King, David there,
I
whatever he
agree.
called himself. Yeah.
I agree. Okay, here's a Canadian tale.
Yay.
Another Canadian tale. On December 25th, 1890, a disturbing story appeared on the front page of a Victorian newspaper, the Daily Colonist. Just as the clock was striking midnight, ushering in the joyous Christmas day, a misdeed, I guess, a dark, cowardly, mysterious as ever disfigured the history of this province, was perpetrated. Wow, okay. I did not know about this. I'm just reading as I go along.
No.
So this is all new for me as I'm reading it, guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No, yeah, I've never seen this stuff before. I just found all this stuff today because I promised spooky tales. So so the target, who went by the name David Fee, was only 21 years old and had been walking to meet his parents for evening mass at the nearby church after attending a costume party. Dressed up as a white clown,
Oh.
he had I know, how bizarre. But again, we're back in Victorian times here, right? And they were really into this sort of thing
Yes.
around Christmas. I mean, the Victorians are heavily into the macabre around this time of year.
Yeah.
Anyway, he had arrived at the corner where the cathedral sat when a man burst out of the shadows and aimed a double barrel right at him. And he said, "You challenged me." So before Fee could speak, the man fired. and Fee, of course, perished with the moments. So apparently the man had confused Fee for another man. And ever since the tragic night, Fee's ghost is rumored to roam the streets outside the cathedral as well as his gravesite. So
Oh
it's very, very
no.
sad.
Which
You know,
cathedral?
it doesn't really say. It just says
Okay.
here
I thought I
that
missed it. It's okay. I thought I
no,
missed it.
no, it doesn't actually tell you which cathedral it is. It's so interesting because again, people don't realize going back into Christmas, and this is just making reference to Alan. We know Christmas much differently in this day and age, and it is a much more joyous. It's supposed to be a much more joyous occasion, and it really is. But going back, remember there were cultures that go back pre-Christianity that go back to pagan times, and they were living in dark times, and
Mhm.
the Victorians really took it to a whole other level, right? So
Well, a lot of Victorians
uh,
didn't
thank you.
that's such a beautiful thing to say.
Thank
And you're
you.
right. She is cosmic perfection.
Thank you.
Um, a lot of Victorians didn't survive because of the war. So I
Mhm.
would imagine a lot of that spiritualism and all of that came from all the losses.
Well, when you're going back, yeah, into the 1800s,
Yeah.
there were a lot of wars. There was also a lot of hardship, and I think the spiritualist movement really took off, and they just, these are people who would picnic during the summer in the cemeteries. I mean, I know a lot of people do that. I've done it.
I've done it.
But yeah, I
I'm
mean,
most comfortable in
it's very
cemeteries.
just quiet, but I also am a lover of ancient history and
Mhm.
ancient folklore and legends and things like that. I love to research it, and I love to share it because it takes a lot of time to find a lot of this information. So, it's interesting also to watch how people around the world celebrate Christmas as
Mhm.
well. So that, I mean, again, I have notes upon notes upon notes. It's just like trying to get it all straight. So, I was trying to see if there's so many of these stories.
Oh yeah, we still
Hotel.
do that.
Here's
My dad would bring birthday cake to my mom every year to the
no,
cemetery for her birthday and for
yeah,
Mother's Day, and he would pull the bench over and have it with her.
no,
Yeah.
that was adorable.
My dad was he was like the most romantic man I've ever met.
Mhm.
He's my father, but yeah,
Aw,
never found anyone like him again. But yeah, very romantic.
aw,
He was
I love
one of a
that.
kind. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, playing a
yeah,
mandolin and singing
yeah,
to
yes.
ask her to marry you below her window, serenading her. That's yeah. How do you top that?
Yeah,
But
you don't.
anyways, no,
Not easily, not easily.
no, he was amazing. Yeah.
Um, okay, here's a really old one. Well, I say old. It's not really giving me an exact time.
Okay.
The ghosts of Poland's kings are said to gather in a dragon's den on Christmas Eve. So I think this is a bit of a folklore thing here. In the middle of Krakow, Poland, sits the Wawel Castle, which for centuries served as home of each of Poland's kings after it was built in the early Middle Ages. Okay, so now there's my answer. Early Middle Ages. So this is really going back. Since this time, it has been associated with numerous legends and ghost stories spanning as far back as the prehistoric era. Holy crud, the prehistoric era. One such legend involves a large series of caves that are rumored to exist under a plot of nearby land known as Wawel Hill. These caves have been explored countless of times. See, Al, this is a place you need to go investigate for your magazine. Just saying. Anyway, these caves have been explored countless times since they were discovered centuries ago and are rumored to hold the statue of a dragon and millennia of human records. The caves are believed to have been inhabited by humans since the prehistoric era. The legend says that in the 11th century, King Casimir, who was just a child at the time, explored these caves and came across a strange tunnel. Inside the tunnel, he claimed to have found a large stone emitting a glowing light. And from this light, a magical protective energy is said to be emitted throughout Krakow. To this day, local legend claims that the ghosts of all Poland's past kings meet every Christmas Eve in that very tunnel to confer upon the fate of Krakow. I love that because
Oh, yeah.
that's way back machine stuff right there, you know. But it is time to do a station ID.
Oh my.
I have to. I know.
I'm just like,
I know.
oh, what's
I
going
know.
on?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No. Oh my gosh. No, it always happens that I
I'm
grab my
sorry.
mouse and then I can't
I know.
get it in.
It's
My goodness.
we have sponsors and
Yes, we do. And
Okay.
without them, none of this would be happening.
This is
So
true. This
you
is
are
true.
listening to The Outer Realm with Michele DeRocher and Amelia Pisano, coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans on 107.7 FM radio, as well as the Gulf Coast on 105.3 FM. We're live on Roku TV, Rumble, YouTube. I'm not sure. Are we live X tonight? Facebook?
We are live on
pages?
X, live on Rumble, and we can see everybody's comments if you put them in there, by the way.
Yes. Please let us know you're there. We're trying to build Rumble and approximately 250 streaming platforms. Our guests tonight are you, our audience. Without you in chat, oh my goodness, it just wouldn't be the same. We're having our final open mic night of the year, the highest requested segment of the Outer Realm. And we just want to thank you for being there for us all year and joining in the conversation. You guys just make it that much more special and make it all worth it. Thank you. And more gratitude here. Folgers Coffee, thank you so much from our first episode with UPRN. Joe Montaldo, network owner and our producer. We thank you for your continued support with sponsoring our show. We absolutely love you. Our fabulous banner and promo media is courtesy of Steve McGinnis, horror illustrator and artist. Steve also creates Steve also creates custom commissioned pieces, and you can find him on Facebook. Thank you, Steve. Our intro and outro is courtesy of Dr. Snick, the sonic surgeon, aka Justin Snicker, award-winning composer, vocalist, and musician. You can find his music on Amazon and Bandcamp and stream him on any platform you normally use. Find Dr. Snick on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you, Justin. Lastly, before I end this, if you're listening to us or watching us, wherever you are, please smash that like and subscribe button and kindly share us with your friends and family. We know that you're listening by, of course, our ratings and our numbers, but we'd like to help the social media grow so we can continue bringing on the best in their fields for you. Our guests look at the comments in these segments on these shows, and they will, a lot of times they interact with you. But if you're not on there, you can't see that. So you have to hit that subscribe, hit the notification if you want to keep up with, especially when Michele does these subscribers only podcasts, which is coming up tomorrow.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, with the amazing Mark Ollie. So that's going to be another fantastic segment.
Love him.
I know. Me too. He's wonderful. But also just know that there will be more controversial shows that will be on X and on Rumble that will be sort of bonus things moving forward because we're not censored. So even a show, a good conspiracy theory show can be, can get you yanked off these days. There's information. Well, damn it.
the biggest people out there, news people who were on MSM and now have their own shows. Good night, CL. Happy holidays.
Check out CL every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, Tuesday nights. Okay, don't forget. I'm drawing a complete blank too, CL. I'm sorry.
And also in archive.
in
Don't forget,
archive.
you can look her up in archives.
In archive as well. So
Yeah, if it's
bear
your
with me.
first time meeting CL, she's also been on our show, and she's an incredible person. Her great shows. Her guests are fabulous.
Yes, Gateway Podcast. Come on.
Yes.
I've had a day, and I apologize. But
It's the
Gateway
season.
Podcast, I know. But it's on at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. Pacific time, because she's in
Yeah.
Pacific time. So check her out, and I apologize. I just slap me.
It's
You'll
just
meet
the
me one
season.
day, and I completely give you full authorization to just pop me one.
No.
Oh my God.
I'll come for
Gosh.
you. I'll
No,
come for
man,
you. You touch her.
It's been a couple of days. It's been a couple of days. So
Yeah.
anyway, I'm
And I would
okay.
come for you and you wouldn't see it coming. Just
Brain,
not you,
brain
them.
toot, brain toot, brain toot.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So if you want to be a part of it, you know, like subscribing doesn't cost you anything. And this way you keep up. But it's really important to show love to our guests,
Yes.
not just us on social media. It's all about the guests.
Yes.
Keep them coming back because they're fantastic. Oh, good night, baby.
Good
Love
night,
you
honey.
too,
Thank
Samantha.
you. Much love. Much love. Okay. So as promised, we're going to, oh, there we go. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Night, night.
So before, I just briefly only want to talk briefly about drones, not long, because I want to finish off this segment and I want you guys to tell me what your plans are for this Christmas Eve and how you like to spend it. So real quick, drones. Okay. Because I've had people messaging. So I'm going to include the drones just briefly. So a lot of people believe, you know, it's PSYOP. Some people believe
It's
that
Santa.
Well, the government, yeah, it's Santa and his drones instead of reindeers.
Krampus.
But you know, let's go back 3 weeks ago. Disclosure: nobody wants to commit. No aliens. No. Pretty incredible people coming through saying, whistleblowing, saying this is a thing. This is the thing. Nope. Now Pentagon issues a statement. Aliens are among us. So anyway, we talked about we talked about this on UFO Undercover tonight. You know, I spent about an hour with them, and we talked pretty detailed about it. Last show with Joe Montaldo, which was last Thursday, we talked in great detail about it. So you know, go check out that segment. Since then, anything that's been sent to me, there's a drone that crashed into a car. Things sitting right on top of the car. It's pretty big. Not the size of the car. Some people are saying that they've seen some pretty much the size of a small truck, you know, which is possible. You know, there's a lot of theories out there. One was, oh, it's Syria, and the government said, no, it's not. Iran, no, it's not. Okay. People are saying China, you know, there's a lot of things surfacing. And I'm a really big stickler for when something big happens, there's usually something bigger in the background that they're trying to draw your attention from. That's just me.
That's just historically.
Yeah. And this isn't a new thing. Okay. There's a lot of things going on. But right now, we're coming into a time of, you know, Christmas. It's supposed to be a time where we could be oh God, see right there, there's another one that went down. They're going down everywhere. Apparently there's all kinds of them going down, you know, online. Okay, still you know, but we're coming into a time where we're just supposed to take a breath, make it about positive vibrations, and just try, like, you know, yes, it's hectic, but it's a time of family. It's time of the gift of giving, ghostly stories, if you will, or read just read your favorite stories. You know, there's a lot of amazing things out there.
Nostalgic time.
It is supposed to be a nostalgic time. A lot of people, you know, are going to be facing Christmas, like for myself, you know, in 15 months, I lost both my parents, 2023, 2024. It's like, this is the first Christmas with my family where we don't have my whole family. And
so that's a hard one.
It is, but that's all the more reason why we want to come together and
Mhm.
just make it that much more special. So with
Beautiful.
all of this stuff going on in the world, choose your battles. Don't believe everything you see. Don't fall into it. It's interesting. It's entertaining. There's a lot of really amazing, independent news outlets that are putting all kinds of stuff out there.
Yeah.
And you know what? Do your research. Don't think it's necessarily something. Kathy mentioned Project Bluebeam. Absolutely, this is something that they called it. They called it way back when.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of things going on. Don't just assume it's something. Do your research, because there's so much. There's the truth, there's the lie, and there's everything in the middle. And we may never know the truth. We may only know what we are allowed to know. So there's a
Mhm.
lot of people out there that have got camera phones, cameras, video cameras.
Oh my gosh.
Just proof is in the pudding,
I
And
didn't even
even then, it's just as sketchy as heck. So
I didn't even think about it
yeah.
for my phone.
Hmm.
It was all about what the hell is that?
Yeah.
It was that kind of thing. But
No.
anyways,
No. See right
Project
there.
Blooming is dead, I hear. You know, all the big leagues out there are talking about it, like Rogan and Carlson and
Mhm.
Owens and
Mhm.
Value Entertainment. It's everywhere, and you
Mhm.
know that they're credible if you're
Mhm.
watching them because they also have defamation suits and they
Mhm.
have to be careful. And some
Mhm.
of these guys, these big wigs, with hundreds of millions of viewers and things, have been yanked
Mhm.
off of YouTube. So it's a real thing. When Michelle says that, it's a real thing. We have to be very careful about everything that we say.
Exactly. But this is why, again, I asked you guys to go and find here's what I will do. I will put
Excel have all
there.
the
Just
credible news sources. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we even had to verify. I had to verify this account just to be
Yeah.
able to show our videos. But
Yeah.
we're allowed to speak freely. And then here's
So
Rumble.
there's community notes on X as well, which is really
Yeah.
good. You can hit at community note
Mhm.
and they will check it or
Mhm.
report or request a community note and
Mhm.
they will verify the information. It is the leading place for news right now is
Mhm.
X because he doesn't censor anyone.
Mhm.
And
So
spammers are shut down very quickly.
exactly. So you're going to start seeing things coming up on X and Rumble that you are not going to see on our YouTube channel. Just so you know. So this is going, if you want to, see all the content, and it is going to be coming in 2025. Like 'cause I'll have some pre-records coming up. They won't hit all the mainstream stuff. It's just going to go onto here, and it will hit all the archive sites. So if you
Yeah.
want to, you guys want to see those, then please, follow us on these other two platforms. Isn't this interesting?
He has a brother? I didn't
I'm
even know
trying
he
to,
had a brother. Elon
I
Musk. Can
know,
you imagine being Elon's brother? Poor guy.
I know, but he owns a drone company. All
I
right.
imagine a lot of people that Elon knows, and I'm pretty sure Elon's making
I
them as
know.
well.
Kind of like,
Drones don't mean that they're
yes,
alien. They could be anything.
yes,
Yes.
yes, exactly, exactly. There's
Yeah.
so much coming up. Um, a year of revealing. Let's hope so. I think a lot is going to get revealed. Things are already starting to surface. But you know what? I'd really like to see it. I would like to see it become a year of awakening and our own evolution, which is basically tapping into our own strength and our own vibrations and only bringing into our space which does not insult our spirit, our intelligence. Just create your space and create it the way you want to, because what you put out there will come back to you. It's a law of attraction. It's the way it is. It's not something, it's not just a saying. It
No.
really is. What you put out there will come back to you.
Yeah.
So
And if you don't believe that, just take a look at world leaders right now without saying anything. I mean, more
I know.
than just the
Yeah.
ones that we know. look around at the world leaders, look at what their lives have been like in the last 10 years, and look at what's happening right now.
Yes. And this is definitely a thing. They don't want to wake up. It makes you feel like you're, if you remember watching The Matrix, where one of the guys decided to turn on the team because he wanted to be plugged back in. It's sort of like that. I think it's just steps outside the comfort zone. People want to be comfortable. Not everybody wants change.
Yeah, social media is addictive, so it's very easy to relay and put stuff out there for the masses to just be distracted.
Or some people lose their minds when it goes down and glitches.
You know what I suggest? Because I had to do this myself. I had to shut down and I came back to some of them because I was so weak.
I know she messages me.
I'm
weak.
I'm so weak, Michelle. I'm back on Telegram. I'm so weak. I was trying to stay away from all of that stuff because it was making me physically ill.
Yeah.
But what I found that helps me is to take a classic book or a film and distract yourself, fall into it. And I don't mean trash TV. I mean something really well written, and go back and familiarize yourself with who you were before all this crap came in. Just saying. True. That helped for me. I hope it helps you. Try not to live through your phone. Try not to live through social media. Those are just photos. And you need to live life. And I get so angry when I see everybody videotaping everything. I'm like, watch it. You're here.
Well, and it reminds me of these new, and I'm going to mention this because Christmas is upon us, and I know this is on some people's Christmas list, I'm sure, is the virtual glasses where you're taking a walk in the forest.
That was on the Big Bang Theory.
Just go take a walk in the forest. And you remember the old saying, don't sit too close to the TV, it's going to ruin your eyes.
Let me tell you something.
Reality.
Yes, read Whitechapel Road.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what I mean?
Read something good. Whitechapel Road is an excellent book.
Yeah.
I think it's really important. I think we're also absorbing other people's it's terrible vernacular. They're the way they say it's just awful when I read something. And I hate when people say, Urban Dictionary. No, screw you with the Urban Dictionary because that's not how you say things. Now the word gonna is in there.
That's because my stupid phone makes me look like I don't know how to speak proper English. I'm gonna and I wanna.
Yeah.
Look back. I'm like, I don't speak that way.
I don't know. I learned, but with the new update, now I'm like reading everything 3 times before I send it out. And I'm still making mistakes, but thank God for verification on X. You have an hour to edit it.
It's just brutal. Yeah. It's just brutal. So there's a lot of things coming up. And I really would like to, just because I know we don't have another open mic for a while. Next week,
District 9 was good. Yeah.
Next week, again, we have
gonna want to speak,
guys.
Yes.
There's going to be a pre-record, but I'm going to try to pick a really good one for you because it's Christmas night after all.
Yes.
But we're also going to be, Michael Carter is returning with us on I want to say it now because we're live, right? It's not going to be pre-record, and then we're getting into another recording, and then we're live again on the 26th, which is Boxing Day. But Michael Carter is coming back to join us. He was supposed to be with us tonight, but he's filming an episode of Ancient Aliens, so we're really happy for him. But he wants to come back and talk about spirituality. Alan, that's going to be your show. So you see,
yes.
We try to include everything, but he wants to come back and talk about spirituality. And we just want to end the Outer Realm season and year going into a new year on a really good positive note. I think it's so important. And there we go, right?
I love Christmas songs.
Yeah. So try to make sure we tune in for that because I think it's going to be a very uplifting episode. And I think it's being that it's live, we're just going to roll writing, because the next time you see us, guys, you're going to see us in January the 1st. And no, we're not doing a pre-record January 1st.
No, we're live.
So
New
you know,
Year's Day.
New Year's Day.
Maybe
we're
a little
coming back.
slower.
I know. But we're
I
coming
might be a
back.
little slower.
We're coming back with Fritz Zimmerman, and we're talking giants and mounds in the United States, and we are going to get really hot and heavy into it. It's going to be a great week. Todd Clements comes back on the 2nd, talking part 2 of Haunted Mackinac Island. Guys, we've got some really great guests and great lineup coming up, and you're going to see a lot of new faces, and you're going to see some old familiar faces, and we're going to have fan favorites and more open mic nights, and we're just we try to spice things up for you. So you guys have ideas, feel free to just send it. And yes, I used to love Snoopy's Christmas song. It was the best.
The whole episode.
Yeah.
The
It
whole
was. I love Christmas
Snoopy's,
movies. Like
yeah,
cartoons. I
Charlie
love
Brown,
Christmas cartoons.
Charlie
I
Brown
know.
Christmas,
Yes.
and Charlie Brown Halloween. Like, how can you not feel sorry for Charlie Brown?
I know. Gets the
You know,
coal in his stocking.
It really
it
it gets you in the feels.
Yeah.
The
it
Charlie
does.
Brown cartoons.
It
They're
does.
classics that let's
It
hope they
does.
never change the name.
Exactly. So you see, guys, great things to look forward to. And I really hope that I want to see everybody have a good holiday.
Me too.
I do.
I
Because
wish you guys all the best.
I know. So we're not going to be having another live show technically, aside from tomorrow at 2:00, only on the Outer Realm YouTube. We're not going to be doing technically another live show until December 26th, Boxing Day night. We're going to be right back here, and it's going to be a wonderful show. So until then, I hope to see some of you guys in chat room tomorrow, because a bunch of you guys showed up the last time we did this with Mark Ollie. God, he was so happy. He's like, oh, this is great.
Talk about making his holiday. Yeah.
He loved it.
He loves interacting.
He does. So, and it's a great opportunity to do it, because he doesn't get to be here for the live shows because he's in the UK. So for him, it'd be 2 a.m, and that's really difficult for some people.
Yes.
Right. So, guys, with all that being said, we are nearing the 11 o'clock mark, and it's been a lot of fun. We love talking, the spooky tales and legends and folklore and all of these great stories. It's just crazy how much is out there, because this is really how a lot of it started before. It had dark origins, dark roots before it came to be such a lighthearted event that we know today. Thank you, Michelle. So,
Yeah.
So still hearing from David and Gareth, no news is good news. Oh, thank you. Well, we'll just hope and keep our fingers crossed. We appreciate you trying. We love your dad. Thank him. Anyway, guys, that's for David Ikes. Wow, we'd love David Ikes.
Oh, yes.
That would be a Rumble thing, guys. That would be a Rumble thing.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. That would be
I don't know if I could recover from that. That the whole time going into that, I'd be a mess.
Say hi. I know. It would be great. Well, guys, with that said, it is time to say goodnight, and we will see you next week. I hope to see some of you guys in the chat room tomorrow. Until then, however, I guess I have to say, if I don't see you tomorrow, have a great Christmas, great holiday. We'll see you on Boxing Day. Oh my God, you're hilarious, Misha. You're hilarious.
Well, it's only 13 hours, Mish, but sure.
Well, more like 16. Yeah, 16 is great. All right, guys. Good night, and we'll see you guys next week.